cover us for the public service announcement.
Yep.
And so, I don't know if anyone did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Any questions or discussion about it?
I'll make
Wait,
a motion
okay.
to approve the minutes of, whatever the date was last week,
25th.
of February 25th, 2025.
And a second? I can second them. I can second that motion. And all in favor?
Aye.
And so they are accepted. Okay, so we, Dan's here, so let's just go to the right, no, we told Sue we were gonna take her, so we'll
Yeah,
take
we'll do
Sue.
Sue and the assessors, because Dan's got his rat and he's got his budget.
So we'll take that slightly out of order. So again, because Madeline has such a good familiarity with all the innards and outwards of the budget, we're gonna turn this portion of the meeting over to her, where we're gonna review some more of the budgets, starting with Parks and Recreation.
Okay, so I think the only thing, I assuming the park staff has to do with the new wage classification increase.
Yeah,
Okay, and then park expense, you had 23,155, so you're increasing it,
yeah, just a
20
little bit.
is, I know the selectmen requested a level service budget, is, that a level service that's the same as what you had last year? I don't know if you
I
added
don't-
more programs, that's what I'm asking.
We're always adding more programs, but they don't all necessarily cost, so we are doing, we already this year have added, we did a Valentine, parent-child Valentine dance. We're, planning to, do some vacation camp things, so when kids are out of school, there's things to do in town.
Mhm.
So yeah, we were hoping to add a few more things.
Well, that's what I figured, but, you know,
Yes,
but
yes.
we weren't sure, and, you know, with this list, because,
But as
but I
always,
didn't remember what it was last year, so that's
Yeah.
why.
as always, you know, if the people want more, we'll do more. If they don't want more, then we
Well,
won't do
the,
more.
well, the only reason why I'm bringing it up, Sue, because there's no easy way to say this. The budget this year is gonna be out of this world.
Not just you, everybody, there's so many things on the,
Not just you, but the
Yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah,
budget
yeah.
itself.
so many things on the table.
We
this
don't
year.
even know what the school's looking at, we don't know anything, but, especially with the wage classification, which was well due, I'm not complaining about that. We haven't got the police contract, the
Yeah,
teacher's
it's just a
contract,
lot, yeah.
and so we just wanted to make sure that people were trying to be as conservative as they
Yeah.
can, that's all
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
some of our expenses have gone up, like some of the Sandy Can things, so some of those small, so we did make sure we had enough in there
Mhm,
for
mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
No, we, like I said,
Yeah.
you know, everybody else.
But that's part of the little bit of the increase as well.
But that's justified, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
is that saying you're gonna add a new program that's really gonna be 3,000, well, it's like, no, I'm just saying, well, maybe, can you wait a year, that's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
the
No,
point.
we aren't adding any programs that are gonna be significant cost, but every little, I guess every little bit adds
Right,
up.
so,
to a little
and the
bit.
other question I'm gonna ask you, because I don't know the amount off the top of my head, I know you do have that rec budget, Parks and Rec
The cap.
gift account. Have you been using that money?
We have actually, we, just purchased a new sound system.
Well, the only reason, two things I'm gonna mention it, in the auditor's letter,
Mhm.
it was mentioned about the gift accounts. That a lot, I'm not sure how many people, they're not using it. And the auditor said, you know, these people should be using it, this money shouldn't be sitting on the
Sitting
books
in.
year after
Yeah,
year after
yeah.
year, so.
Well, actually, we have started, so we just bought a new sound system, and used it at the Valentine dance, and it worked great, and so, yeah.
Okay, that, I just wanted to mention
Yeah,
that, you know,
no,
because I
that's
know
good.
you have two,
Right, we have gift and then that revolving one, I never know what the names of them are.
right, so I
Yeah.
just,
But we have been,
right, so, you know, if it can help you out maybe with a couple of these, and you can turn some money back next year, that would even be better.
okay.
So you got any questions for us, anybody else?
I don't know, do you need to know about any of the article stuff?
Articles were not, Well, they're gonna come separate, I know you got one for, the fireworks, I saw that.
Well, we have one for the fireworks for this upcoming fiscal year, but we just found out like a day or two ago that even though we asked for the money to be encumbered from the one that didn't happen, it didn't get encumbered, and so it ended up going back into, and we have that we didn't know it didn't get encumbered because we asked for it to be, so, my understanding is we're gonna have to now go on the floor and ask for that money
Money
to be
back.
reinstated.
Well, probably the reason why it couldn't be encumbered, okay, I'll just get to that, is that it didn't get encumbered.
It didn't, and I just talked to Jackie about it, and so she said it was probably that office's error. But I said, is there nothing we can do about it now? Do I
No,
really have
there's
to go on the
nothing.
floor?
Well, that's the thing, is that, yeah, because generally what happens, and it was scheduled for September, correct? Well,
Yeah, I don't remember what the date was, but yeah.
it was scheduled for another thing. Generally, you can't encumber the money unless it's gonna happen within a short period of time, and I think that might have been why, because it didn't happen.
Except nobody told us that it wasn't encumberable, so we've always encumbered when we've had rain.
But
Or bad
because it's
weather.
July to September, but
No,
it
we've
should,
encumbered, we've definitely,
not when I was here, sir, okay, let's get this straight, because you know me, I'm a hard nose. But I don't know, I don't have,
well, I don't
I have
care
last
anyways,
year's.
the only way for it to
I don't have
happen
the
in June
encumbrance
is for us to go down the
Right.
floor and
so
ask
now
for
you're
money.
gonna ask for how much?
We're gonna ask for what was taken from us, which was 9,271.14 is what we asked
Right.
to be encumbered, that wasn't encumbered.
Right,
Right.
and you're gonna do that when? Did you plan on having the
It's
fireworks?
already scheduled for
For-
June 21st.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already scheduled for June
Yeah.
21st, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be another article.
Yeah.
And then you want 12,000 for next year.
I just wanna say, I wouldn't expect any problem. You're always gonna have.
I know,
there's
but I
always-
was like,
There's always a problem with it, no, even simple things, right? But I don't anticipate a problem because there's an easy explanation. The money was returned to the general fund,
Yeah.
and we're just reallocating it this year in the hopes that we don't get rained out again.
I have had some people sit in the past couple of days, because we've been chatting about this, say, why don't you just ask for it in the budget? And I said, we've always felt like the people should just decide year by year.
Yeah.
I guess I pose the question to your group is just what are the
Right,
feelings from
Right, okay. And it was asked of me too. I don't have a problem with it, but the problem that I have is that technically, I don't think it should be in your budget.
Well, that's what I thought too, is that we
It
just
could
every
be-
year ask the people, do you want it?
Right.
If we have the money,
So
and you want it,
there's
we'll do it.
two ways to do it, is do a separate, one of these,
Like, oh, just for that?
just for that. Because it's really
Line item?
a different line on it by
Yeah.
itself, because the thing is, if it goes into their budget, it may get charged, and this is where it gets more complicated in the Schedule A under the parks. It's not really part of your budget. So when they take all that information, we do the Schedule A, they compile all the cities and towns, and then they put reports out and stuff that it choose. So it's not an expense of your department.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. So, we can talk about it and maybe make it a separate line item this year. But you would still have to do an article for the other.
For the other one,
Because
yeah.
it's technically, when I looked at UMass, that's a Uniform Massachusetts Accounting Standards, that's what we go by, our account numbers. It would be under like a celebration, like Memorial Day and stuff like that, which technically comes under the Board of Selectmen. So that's something that we could address with them, and,
It doesn't matter to us.
Yeah.
I always felt like the people should decide, and it
Mhm.
is sort of an extra. We, it's
Yeah.
not a necessity, it's a
Right.
luxury.
and 1 year I know we didn't have it.
And we've had several years,
Yeah.
we haven't had
Right.
it, just where the people
Yeah.
were not
Yeah.
wanting to spend the money and.
Yeah. So that's, we'll let you know on that.
Okay.
But the one for the 9,000, definitely go ahead and do.
So was there an expense
Yes.
paid out of it already?
Yes.
So how much did you pay and what was it for?
it was because that they had the trucks and everything loaded and ready to come to Warren, and then the weather churned, and we either had to decide if they came here and it didn't happen, we would've lost all the money, or, and they couldn't shoot it off, or we had to decide to cancel, and it's the fee for them to unpack the truck,
So are
feed
they
the
gonna
people.
do it for,
We'll take money, I will take whatever we need to on top, because basically we have the money for the fireworks now, what we don't have in that 9,000 whatever is to pay the firemen, we will take that out of our gift account.
okay,
The money that you had to pay, is that in addition to the 92?
Yeah, we had to pay 2,000
Yeah.
something.
it was, I think
Okay.
11,000
And there just
in
was
the
nothing
budget.
we could do about
Yeah.
it, so we thought we made the prudent decision to not lose all the money,
Yeah.
because the weather wasn't good.
The whole week was good.
Okay,
Any other questions for me?
I do have one quick question, Sue.
Yeah.
The Cummins Pond salary,
Yeah,
is that fundamentally or completely the lifeguard?
yes,
And
and it
let-
went up because of the wage classification.
Okay. Did we end up getting a lifeguard last year?
Yes,
We
we
did.
had 4 lifeguards.
We did?
So we were fully
Oh.
staffed last year,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
And how many do you plan on hiring this year, Sue?
Well, it just depends on how many we get. I mean, you need to have at least 3 because, in order to cover and not have people working more than a work week. So we hope to have 4, maybe 5, but we will just split them up, and rotate their schedules however. It's always better if we have more. I do know of at least 2 of them are coming back, the other 2 I'm not sure about.
Hard to say, it's not an easy position to fill.
It's super hard,
Yeah.
it's super hard.
But the wage may
It did
help.
go
that.
up, so that may, right, that may help.
Okay. Any other questions for Parks and Rec?
And then the capital planning, you guys don't need to know about that here?
no,
Okay, just wanna make sure I'm all.
not capital planning is not us,
Okay, well, I didn't know if you needed to be aware,
no,
that's all, okay. Well, thank you very
Yep.
much.
Yep, thank you,
you.
Sue.
Yeah,
appreciate
Thanks,
you coming.
Appreciate it.
okay, Deb, you wanna,
Sit here.
wherever you want.
Wherever you're comfortable, you can come up here. I don't know if we got another chair.
Just right here.
Right here.
There's, I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
Yep. Okay,
This is the amount,
Okay, I'll get it ready.
thanks.
just to let the board, she had sent us a revised budget. I had given you all a copy today. Here's the original one. All right. So, I guess, maybe you can explain to us, I mean, it doesn't take a lot. It looks like you gave us 3 budgets. You want, one is an assistant assessor trainee, and then the other one is a principal assessor. Okay. That's, so what are you really looking to do? What position is it that you want to do?
They go along with the article I sent you.
I understand the article, but that affects how the budget is done,
Right, so, and we're looking for, allowing the appropriate adjustment of compensation based on the qualifications of the people we hire. Most people who have come to fill that position have not been people who've had experience, who we've trained.
Mhm.
So if we do again find ourselves, because what happens is whether they come in with training or not training, they're paid as if they're qualified for
Mhm.
training. And with the training that we give them and the fees, we end up actually giving a salary of a principal assessor. So I thought maybe to have someone come in who does not have the qualifications, we could have another grade for them to come in at that grade.
So this is, did everybody look at the background to know what she's talking about? Okay, so this is the first place we're gonna start. As far as a budget for us, the only one that we can
Right.
vote on is the assistant assessor.
I understand.
Okay. So, on that, I have some questions on the original
Okay.
budget, okay? Because what'll happen is if you put the articles on, and this is what's voted at town meeting,
Mhm.
okay, then you will need to get up, you know how the moderator says we're gonna go through this, you know, from this one to this one, you would have to do a hold, and you would have to take the assistant assessor salary out. Say, I want to amend the budget, and it would be down to 60,000, 340,325. Because the money comes before we get to the omnibus. So the only one that we can put in is this budget. This is what's gonna go in
Okay, I understand.
that. And then you would have to, if it passes,
Mhm.
then when you get there, you'd say hold. If it doesn't, then this is gonna be the budget. Okay? So, I had some questions, of course, you know me. I think I must have another one someplace. No, but I thought I had one that
Oh, okay.
because you have the breakdown, right? Should be in there. Okay, so, because I know I had one that had the, I had marked. So, the mileage is pretty high, 67 cents, that's, you know, 100 miles is $670, you know.
It's 70 cents.
Well, she has 70 here.
Oh, I thought I gave you the new one. The new
Huh?
one. The new
No,
ones
it's
have,
70.
Oh, okay,
I revised all the numbers.
oh, I'm sorry.
That's what was there.
Now, this was,
Wait, I don't
this
have
is
the
the
second
same.
page, so the 70 on
I got this one. It's the latest one she emailed us.
No, all I
it.
had.
I
was-
don't have
Yeah, me either. All I had was this.
Well, there was other attachments there in the email.
I didn't have it.
No.
If somebody wants to share mine, I do have it on.
Yeah,
I got
well,
mine.
that. I need a copy of it
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I need a copy of it to keep. Do you want to see this? You want to hold it now?
No,
Can you
you
give it to
can
me?
keep- You can
Yep.
keep it. yeah.
Okay.
Can I just
I
see
just
it? And
printed out
I just want to change here, that's all I care about. All right. Appraisal. Is the four.
Just so you have something, this is the one we're working off of right now. It's different than what we had. Right, yeah, that's one change. Okay.
Just, I'll go use it against this. And look at this. So excessive expense went up. All right, so why is there a cut in, proposed budget of 6,000 from the 9,000?
You talked about the Board of
Mhm.
Assessors?
Yep.
We put 3,000 down for consulting.
Instead of 3 board members?
There'll be 3 board members.
The 3 board members are only gonna get 2,000 each. Okay,
You got the differences?
all right, now. MLS, that's for, real estate, right, membership?
Yep.
And Mass, what is that certification for MMA?
That's for, that's for the Assessors Association.
M- MAAO is the Assessors Association. Mass, MMA is Mass Municipal Association, but there shouldn't be a fee for that, am I right? Because everybody's under the town of Warren, Jim?
That's what was there, that was what was in the original budget.
Yeah, I mean, we pay the,
Yeah,
association fee for the town,
Right.
unless there's a specific thing for the assessors within there that you're looking to join.
I did not change hardly anything.
Yeah, no,
that
I know.
wasn't there.
I can check it.
Yeah.
I can check with
I
Jackie.
just-
You know, I've been gonna be almost 5 years now.
I just didn't wanna lose
It just
anything.
doesn't ring a bell,
Yeah, I just didn't wanna
Okay.
lose anything the assessors had had
Yep.
previously.
and I know the next one's that. Now, what is
I
WCAA?
think it's Worcester County Assessors Association.
Okay. The one that I have an issue is the international. I don't think that we need that. The IAAA, that's my opinion. I don't know of, I only know of one other person that has an international, 2 other people that have it. And to me, it's, and especially where you've got these courses, that's where, last year we got into the same thing.
Assessors are required to
But
take the courses.
Not international, though. They're not
But those classes sometimes are not
that
classes
what
that
the
MAO
assessors
does.
need is to be certified.
Mhm.
That's all they need. They don't need all these other classes. Okay? We've had assessors for years and years and years, and they've never taken any of these classes. All they need to do is that, I don't know, is it 101, 201, whatever. I just don't see where, until you get a board that is really going to be long-term, to me, it's a lot of money. If you take the 800 plus, 800 plus the 160, that's 960.
Right, and that happens when we hire assistant assessors too. They take the classes.
They've
and
never taken international, I can tell you that. They never have.
I believe they have, but I'm not
If
going to.
anybody did it, it would be Betty Jo, but before that, as far as the best of my recollection, I don't ever remember this coming across.
Mhm.
But it's another thing I can check.
Yep, you can check, because it is
It's
through
the
the
international, what is it?
International Association of Assessors, but the MAO, they sponsor classes
Th-
that they run.
Then
So-
it should say it's if it's, then it shouldn't be them, it should be MAAO.
But that's how they list it. They sponsor it and it's through them.
I understand, but it's very,
If I can do it, give more clarification, I certainly will.
no, but what I'm saying, if it's through the association you're taking this class, then you're talking something different. How I look at it, the international is a completely separate group than the MAAO.
I understand, but they do sponsor those classes.
They can sponsor them, but MAAO sponsors the classes. And they're actually taking the class through them, but the class is being provided by the international. That's what I'm saying. I need to know, is it just the international or is it MAAO?
Is it MAAO classes being given by international?
Correct. And if that's the case,
It
then.
is. I don't know how to make it clearer.
Oh, I
will-
understand, but that's what I'm saying, is then I wouldn't have IAAO here. I would put
Okay.
MAAO course, and what is it for? What technically is the course name?
Sure.
I know, I know.
Mhm.
That's why you're good at what you do.
Well, I know, because I'm,
Again, I didn't change anything that was there
no,
last year, but.
I know,
we
but,
will.
and last year, because everything, your department wasn't together, it was a big,
Yep,
okay?
so we will do that.
Okay, now, HHCAA, quarterly trainings 4 times 90 times 4. What is that?
That's for Hampden County.
Okay. Quarterly training for what?
They do assessing courses, like Worcester does, talking on the new exemptions or the new laws that come down.
Okay, so So you want to belong to 3 associations, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's what all the assessors, I mean, if we wanna take away associations.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. But we can do it again. So WCAA year end, what is that?
I guess they have a year-end, training, and if we had 3 boards, they would go.
And then HHCA.
That's Worcester County.
Yeah, I know. I understand, but what I'm saying is, so
I don't
envelopes,
think it's any more than any other assessor belongs to. I don't, they are
okay,
always
like I
there.
said, bear with me, I understand, I've been here for 5 years, I understand, but I'm going to find out, because I know, I'm just telling you, when I was here, they just belonged to the, MAAO, that was it,
Okay.
but things have changed since, probably could have changed, but I'm just saying, I'm gonna check into it and find out, because I can see belonging to another association, either Worcester or Hamden, because when I was here, Western Mass used to have an accountants association, it dissolved. But then Worcester had one, I didn't go to Worcester because I was with the other one.
Mhm.
But I could have had the option to go to Worcester, and I didn't because I didn't think it was really necessary, but that's me. All right, so we have envelopes, certified mail, stamps, ads for opening, screening applicants, that's, physicals, right?
Physicals and drug screens are $260 per candidate.
Is that what that is? I'm asking. Deb.
Yes,
Okay, so it's 260, and why for 4?
I guess it depends on, we've had a couple of people, they come, they go, so I figure for the openings, just to be safe. And sometimes we've had people who didn't pass the first one, they have to be screened again.
Okay.
So, just to make sure we have the money to cover
Yep.
it.
And then the,
Time, I got a
one
comment
more,
there.
just, let me
If-
just finish the
if-
last one.
Go ahead.
The deeds, registry of deeds, that's fine. Okay. Go ahead, Ray, I'm done.
If we have an applicant who fails an initial screening, why are we doubling back to them?
That's what, I guess that's what they do. We had a person before that they give another sort of screening that costs us a little more money. They just said the bill.
Is it physical screenings?
No,
It's
it's,
I think it's a drug test.
Drugs. right, but that doesn't mean that somebody didn't
Yeah.
take an over-the-counter medicine that's showing
Yep.
something
Just
that.
So they go back and they do something else that costs us a little more money, and last time we didn't.
Yeah.
have any money.
So that's the next question that I have. Are you done, Ray?
Well.
Go ahead.
Okay, so apparently that number, the 180 needs to be changed to 260, it looks
Mhm.
like.
Well, no, it is $260 in the new.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
That
This
wasn't-
is the new, right?
Flip the page over.
Flip the page over here. So the okay, my apologies, I missed that when I updated
okay.
my. Okay, so that's good, okay, sorry. And so, okay, that's all fair enough. I know, my comment basically goes to an issue that goes beyond budget, but I'd highly recommend that we don't follow up with someone who missed, if you don't pass your screening, you fail, and you're out. That's just, but that's neither here nor there. I do wanna double back real quick if I could, back on the education. Let me double check that I'm working off the right numbers here. So, MAAO annual school went from, the copy I originally had 600, now it's 100. Can you bring some clarification to that?
Because I took a course.
So you don't need,
Right.
okay. Then why do we need, you took a course that cost 500? Okay, I don't understand the need for the budget, the line item then. If you took a course and it costs 500, why are we asking for another 100?
Because we go to the school and they have other classes.
It's a membership, it's a
No,
membership.
it's no- Okay,
It's like,
all right, then, and how about the HHCAA quarterly training?
Yeah, well, that's,
What-
she's gonna get back to us on those. Because I have questions on those.
Some of these she's gonna get back to us.
Okay,
So the IAAO, she's
Right.
gonna get back to us, the HHCAA, and then those other, WCAA year end, and HH, she's gonna get back to us to let us know what those actually are.
me send them to you.
Jim's got copies, we can make them
Okay,
downstairs, so.
sounds good.
And I'm waiting to see if Ray's done or if anybody
I'm,
else.
I'm done.
I'm gonna ask if anybody else before I start talking again. Karen, you got anything to say? Gia?
Well, I mean, all I can say is I actually do agree with you, in terms of the education, because some of these seem like accessory courses. And, you know, this is more of a concentrated sort of board, right? So,
Okay, question I have, now, it's pretty close to a year. I would think that you would have some idea when you're looking to put somebody into that assistant accessory position, a salary position. Where are you at with, getting somebody?
Nowhere right now,
Are you looking yet?
not right now.
Can I ask why you're not looking?
27th.
Is this because you want someone that you can train?
I don't want to train anybody, honestly.
Okay, so what's the 27th?
I have another meeting with Jack. We had some plans, obviously we had a loss of Dawn.
Yeah.
So I will be meeting with Jack and we will be discussing it.
Okay. No, because that's the only reason why I'm asking is if you're not intending, and I'm sure you want to get the position filled.
I do, and if I had known about, I would have had the other positions, I would have put them on the November.
Generally, those are done at the annual,
Yeah, so
because it's
good.
usually more people that come to the annual. So usually, I'm just saying for FYI. So when it comes to adding new hires or changing positions, whatever, that's usually the annual, because that's the meeting that draws most of the residents, so, okay.
So,
So-
why is this trainee listed here then, if we're not gonna train?
That's an article.
This is the articles.
Right, so that was an article,
Got it,
and then the one on the over is an article,
got it.
okay?
Yep.
But the only thing that we can approve and put in the
It's the first.
FinCom book is the first one, so.
So-
Alrighty,
Okay,
thank you, and if you could get back to us with that information, I know I'm anal sometimes about that, but
Everything's
it's
out
just,
there,
as I
yes.
said to Sue, it's gonna be a real tough year. I'm just,
Yeah. Oh, I
you know,
understand.
we still got the police contract, the
Why?
school they're in negotiations with the
The
school
big list, right,
contract.
Jim?
We have
What
no
we're up
idea
against?
what the school's asking for above minimum. I'm not sure, have we got any information what our minimum is yet, or
Not yet, no,
transportation?
not yet.
We don't know anything on the school.
yeah,
And-
I'm in total agreement with you.
And the transportation got a big hit, I'm not sure, Jim was one, we're not sure if it was like a $500,000 hit for transportation. Is there a problem? Is this gonna get remedied before we get, if something comes up, transportation we have to pay, and there's no way around it. So if we get hit with an additional 500,000 just for that, it's,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be a good
Still
year at
yellow.
all, so,
No worries.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks,
I
Deb.
appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thanks, Dave.
And thanks for coming, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Okay, so, all right, Dan. Huh?
Lieutenant Dan.
No, Board of Health.
Oh, got it.
For our reserve account transfer.
Aren't we missing?
And I got some updated information too.
Do I have to get out?
Yeah, this is for a reserve account transfer is the first one. And we're gonna look at his budget after, okay? Okay. I've got it right in front of me, honest to God, nothing to make up. Okay, you didn't make us copies, so go ahead and you can read us what you want there. As a matter of fact, read it and then give it to, unless Jim, could you make us a copy of that? Or is Jackie still here? What time is it?
Ooh,
She might be gone.
You want a copy of this?
Right, so he can have one to read from, but really, right,
Okay. How many, 3?
No, we'll make the copies after we sign.
Oh, just one?
Right, just one, so that,
Okay.
I didn't know if Jackie was there, but then they come there, so. I get back for Jeff, 'cause I was picking on her. I said I get back 'cause I was picking on her. No, no.
No, they were very valid questions.
I can give you original too. Because we need to. So, I know what it's about, but you can explain to everybody.
Okay, what I'm looking for is a transfer request of $20,000 to fill the balance of the Board of Health inspector's budget. Basically, right now, she's down to $455, and with her last payment that will be coming in pretty soon, that will leave us with a balance of $210 once that is paid out. We have increased the amount of inspections, and by law, we're supposed to be doing a minimum of 2 inspections per location, and we haven't been able to do that because the budget was underfunded.
2 per year per location.
Yeah. And we've added new locations in, and right now, we're currently using an assistant, or the Ludlow Town Health Inspector is filling in while our inspector is out on a medical furlough. So she's not charging us to help us out, but she's gotta go back to her town. Okay. We've been looking at grants also, working with the shared community service between Ludlow, Warren, and West Brookfield. And so far, they have the money allocated, but they have no human beings allocated. Nobody's stepping up to the plate. So we're trying to keep what we have going. Her budget, like I said, when that last bill comes in, it'll be down to 210 and change, and we won't be able to do any inspections after that. And we still have the whole rest of the fiscal year cover. The schools are already hitting us up for their second inspection, and they can't go without it because they needed to pass a state inspection.
Good point.
So we're kinda in a pickle here, trying to get the money in so that we can get her back on schedule. She is scheduled to come back to work within the next 2 weeks. She'll be cleared by her medical doctor to do her job. So I'm looking at 20,000 to cover the rest of this, the remainder of this year, for budget, for physical budget this year, and then hopefully next year increase the budget overall to cover everything, so we don't have to come back and take money out again. So that's where I'm at.
Any comments?
Oh, I got lots, so go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't understand, if you're requesting 20,000 for inspecting budget for the year, why do we need 20,000 for 4 more months?
She's already gone through her entire budget in less than half a year,
Correct.
Of 8,000, right?
8,000, right?
Right.
We're
So if
trying
you
to
prorate that, it would be an annual 12,000.
Right, but I'm covering for other additional, because the inspections are growing. The housing
Right.
inspections, the violations and everything are growing. We're out there more now, bringing her in to do housing inspections because of the amount of violations that are growing. So I'm anticipating this is gonna be used up within the rest of the budget because of the housing inspections.
Then why isn't the request for next year 30,000?
Cause I think we can do it with 20 grand. I don't wanna overtax the budget, I mean, if I put in 30 grand there, I'd be laughed right out of the room.
Yeah, but if you need 20 to finish the year,
Yeah,
how could 20 do 12 months?
Well, we're banking on, well, not banking, hoping that we'll get that additional help, that grant.
Okay,
If we get that grant, that's gonna cover the other half of
okay,
it.
okay.
I mean, the money's already allocated, we just gotta get the people.
And you said Ludlow's just volunteering to
Right
assist?
now, she's
Part of
up.
Okay.
Warren's part of a regional grant with Ludlow, so
Right.
that's why Ludlow,
Oh, okay, I
That's-
missed that part.
yes.
Yeah, we're not having to pay her, she's getting paid by the grant.
Okay, it sounded like there was like a volunteer
Oh, no, no,
situation.
no, no.
I misunderstood, I apologize.
It's a regional grant.
Okay,
Okay, now you done, Ray?
go ahead.
No, go ahead, you.
No, I'm good for now.
Anybody else?
That's the big,
Okay, now, question for you. So I have what's been expended through, I think she's been paid through December. Is that what it's normally gonna run about? It looks like they're around $1,200.
We're looking at,
The expense report, I got a copy of the expense report. For the first one
Oh,
was
she's in
$2,390, so that'd be 1,200. The
Yeah.
next one was $1,480, $1,140, $1,120. So, and she's been out, so we don't owe her technically anything till she comes back,
till she
In 2
comes
weeks.
back, and there's one payment of two,
which is gonna be mentioned.
45,
I
which is
understand that.
next.
I've got the corrected numbers,
Yep.
because it's different.
Yep.
It's what, because I don't know if Jessica talked to you about it, because as it stands right now, your deficit spent.
yeah, we're
And you
broke.
can't, no, you're in the negative, you can't do it, it was a accounting error, I'm just telling you right now.
Okay,
What I'm asking you for the $1,200 a month, has she done everything that she was supposed to do?
yes.
Okay, so here we go with the hard numbers. So if it averages 1,200, I'm gonna even be lenient with you, $1,500 a month, okay? We got April, May, and June, right? That's 4,500. And a couple weeks in March. I'll even give you 750, how's that? That makes 5,250. Should get you through the end of the year. Not 20,000,
Barring any future,
but you need to, just stay with me, okay? Because I'm gonna say some more. So you understand what I'm looking at, 5,250, okay? There's a deficit account of 1,335. So that makes 6,600, okay. The first thing I wanna say, I understand you're, you know, probably pretty new, okay? This, in all realities, should have been done at the fall special. Okay, the reserve account transfers are technically for emergencies. This is not an emergency. This was an era of not paying close attention to the budget. I'm not blaming it on any one person, because when these started coming in at $1,200 a month, that doesn't even give you 7 months. So somewhere, I know Jimmy's back there, it should have gone and said, hey, we're gonna be short, and this really should have been addressed. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. Number two, the other issue that I have is these courses.
Yep.
The town should not be paying for any class that she takes. She's not an employee of the town, she's a 1099 employee. If she needs this to be able to do her job, then she should be paying it on her own. She's not an employee, we don't pay. This is the first time I've ever seen somebody that's not an employee of the town, that we pay for a class for them, okay? So it's too late now, I know, I understand it's too late, I don't,
I just want to add a clarification to that. Those courses were being paid as an expense of hers, not out of a line item that is in your budget.
right.
Right, that's not kosher.
Right.
Just so you know, I'm not faulting you, I'm just
No,
saying,
no.
yeah,
so Go
Okay.
ahead.
So, we're up to $6,600, okay? And this is what I'm going to suggest. All right, $7,000 is what you technically, as of today, need to get through the end of the year, okay? You have in the landfill supply account $2,000, which never gets used, okay? So I am telling you, I'm gonna deduct the 2,000 from the 7, which brings it down to 5. Come May 1st, you need to do up a line item transfer form, which it probably in your office. And what you're gonna do, it's going to say, I don't have a copy of it, that you want, it's like that type of form, except it says line item transfer, and that you're gonna request to transfer the 2,000 from the Board of Health Supply to the health agent. That'll give you $2,000.
Okay, I had asked that question before and I was told, no, you can't do that.
Who told you that?
Jim did.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
you did.
In May first you can.
May 1st, not till
Not
May
now.
1st.
The timing is
Right,
probably where the misunderstanding was.
Okay.
okay,
It-
May
You
1st.
could do that in May.
Okay, so May 1st, you got a pen there, you might want to write it down on your paper, not the wrap. Oh, you're gonna do wrap on yours.
Yeah.
It wasn't a line.
Okay, so May 1st, you can do up the reserve account transfer, and we'll have to meet on it, and we have to vote on, the selectman has to vote on it, and I don't foresee it to be a problem, okay? And the only reason why I'm doing this is if somebody came up with a big emergency, okay,
You need the money for that.
we need the money. So,
I understand that,
okay, I know,
and in my eyes, this was an emergency. And-
It's
and
not an
you-
emergency.
You gotta just hear me out for a minute,
Mhm.
please. It was an emergency in my eyes because I can't do the required inspections.
Right. But you should have, this should have been addressed at the fall special.
With-
That's not an emergency. This isn't unforeseen or unexpected. You've got your budget, whatever. Somebody should have said $1,400 a month. 10 months is $14,000. You're already 6,000 short. You know what I'm saying?
I
This,
know what you're saying.
okay, that's all I'm saying. My opinion, it's not an emergency. I understand we need to get the work done. That's why. All right, so now we're down to 5,000.
Instead of 20.
Correct. And since we got 2 weeks in March and then April, I'm good to say that's gonna be 2,000. May, you got 2,000. And you're gonna have to put an article on the special town meeting for whatever amount you want. Okay?
Yeah, I think we've already done that.
Let's see.
So, if that's the case.
Oh, no, you got the one for the transfer station DEP.
For 30,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, that. 2,000. So what I am going to recommend, since everything's been this much, I'm not saying it couldn't be more, but that can be addressed later. I am going to recommend that we do the reserve account transfer, and I'm going to be generous of $3,000. You do the line item transfer is gonna give you 2,000 for May,
Mm-hmm.
and then whatever you need, you think you're gonna need for June can be addressed. So you're actually, for 1,200 a month, I'm giving you an extra, you get an extra 800 from May. I'm not saying there could be more, and then June, you can put an article on for 3,000, 4,000, whatever you feel you need.
Okay.
I mean, is that
Yeah,
acceptable?
I mean, yes, that's acceptable to me. I'm just looking to cover her.
Right, that's what I'm saying, so.
Okay, and I.
So I'm giving you 2,000 for a couple weeks in March and April.
Yep.
And like I said, these have been all around 1,200, except for 1 month it was 15.
Mhm.
And then May should be covered by the transfer from the Board of Health. And in June, you know, you got the town meeting, because you're not gonna get her bill until the end of June anyway, so there's time to get the balance. Any questions on that?
No,
And that's the only reason why, is that, you know.
and that's why I was not aware of the
Mhm. No, I know,
process. So I stepped in when Don dropped out.
right, no, I know, and that's why I was trying to explain, Jim knows, right, Jim? You know how it goes.
Yeah, I actually went to, we were.
No, I'm talking about Jimmy, he back over
Yeah.
there.
Oh, no, we were at a Thursday night meeting, and I talked to the select board, and we went to an executive session to talk about this, because I didn't have the funds to move.
Right.
This is why,
Right.
this is all covered.
Right, that's what I'm saying, okay. So anyways, anybody have any questions? Jim?
Yeah, I will also say this, because, this person is not a town employee, okay, and this is considered a vendor, anything that hits over $10,000 requires, a level of procurement and our compliance with Chapter 30B. So I will, you know, historically, I think this budget has been around $8,000. And so that is, you know, sound business practices. So now that this budget has the potential of going above 10,000, after this, you know, request is heard, then we will have to do some level of compliance with 30B. And that would be the responsibility of the health department to comply with 30B.
So you can touch base with Jim, you're gonna have to go out and get,
All right, quotes.
Quotes, you know, written quotes.
for
Yeah.
starting July 1st, right? Because that's when the new budget will take over.
Well, I mean, you know, theoretically, I mean, you know, they're over they're over 10,000 now.
Oh, that's right, I forgot, he's under this too. Hold on, amend my motion.
So leaving this at 20,000.
How much,
Well-
did I say we were gonna do 3,000?
3,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna adjust that. I'm gonna, we haven't taken a
All we're
vote.
doing is.
We're not doing the
We're
budget.
not doing the
Got it.
budget.
We're
Got
doing
it.
that. Okay. So, you need that form.
Yeah.
Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a motion, because they do have $1,335 deficit. I'm going to make a motion that we give them $3,500
Okay,
What's the deficit?
from
What's the deficit,
1335.
35. So I'm gonna do 2,000 plus the 13th, I'll give them $50, so $3,335.
Wait.
Gonna make a motion
Right.
for $3,335 from the reserve account to the health agent line.
But why, that will cover the deficit of 1335?
2,000 plus
2,000,
1335.
okay, got it.
2,000 of additional expenditures
Correct. And
with the
13
recommendation to come back May 1st for May.
For the line
and then-
item
And then
transfer.
special town meeting, and then with recommendation for a special town meeting article to, if they need more. And then we'll talk about the budget.
All right.
We good?
Reserve account transfers 2,000,
We're gonna, no, it's gonna be 3,335 now.
but that won't cover the 1,500 a month plus the deficit.
We've scratched the 1,500 a month,
Okay,
and we're making it 1,000 a month.
got it. Okay, that
For
answers my
March and
question.
April.
2,000.
Got it.
2,000 for March and April.
Right,
Right.
okay, that
March
answers my
and
question.
April.
Okay, I'm good then.
And
Okay.
then
Yep.
that.
Well, let's, okay, I just wanna make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay.
I'm relatively new,
Yeah.
so I'm just.
Okay,
sort of
if you have a
in-
question, jump in,
Yeah.
we'll recapitulate.
So that's the motion.
Okay, so there's a motion on the table for a reserve account transfer.
Cross off is 20,000, take the big
Yep,
one.
for 3,335. I don't wanna change it until we settled on it,
Okay.
and then I'll put it in there. Any further discussion about this? I saw Jim with your hand up a minute ago. Did you wanna add something to this?
Well, the only thing I just wanna add is, you know, if you're looking at years past, this health agent, everything's variable here.
Well, last year, I think you turned back $2,000, so I understand,
That's what I mean.
I understand that
We haven't had
change.
her for a full year.
Well, but she's worked here
New board.
before,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The other
But
thing,
it's a variable,
I understand.
until we get an actual system of a
Correct.
two annual inspection or whatever.
Correct.
Just wanna put that out there.
Correct. The other question I had for the fees for double inspections, the fees that you charge covers her, does that cover her time?
There's no fees involved except for paying of the permits.
Right, but the permit fee, it's a fee, as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned, it's a permit fee, does it cover her hours?
Check, I think it does, and
Okay,
I think
that's-
we were talking about going up on it,
Correct.
so,
That, I'm just saying, to make sure, because
yeah.
if, I know I talked with Jessica yesterday, and she said some are maybe 2 hours, some is an hour, whatever.
Yeah.
So if you have a good idea, and I'm not, and I know everything changes,
I'm pretty sure, don't all the fees go back into the town?
I understand, but if we're, if the if it's costing the town more than what they pay for a fee, then the town's not gaining anything. That's my point, that's all I was saying.
Yeah, we're looking at increasing the fees for everything.
Okay,
So whatever you charge for the inspection should cover the cost to
Cost of her.
doing the
So,
inspection.
yeah, and
If I
that's-
can just hold this is budget issues we're talking about right now.
Right.
Right.
Let's go back to the motion
Right.
on the table.
okay, let's do
If I
that,
could.
then we'll talk about the
Yeah.
budget, okay, go ahead.
So there's a motion on the table for $3,335 reserve account transfer to the line item in the Board of Health budget to cover health agents' expenses. Any other discussion on that? And hearing none, I'll await a motion.
The motion's already been made.
I'll wait a
second.
second.
I
And so
second.
there's a second. And all those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so it is a vote for $3,335.
So down at the bottom, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so read what it says, the number voting, and today's date, doesn't it say the date?
It
Okay.
is 3/4/2025.
Okay, the total number
Under
of,
present voting is
Four.
4.
and
The
then,
transfer voted for the sum of $3,335.
and then we need to initial it, and you need to sign it as chair. So one place is your initial,
Okay.
and then you sign, but
This
you
is all
need to
four
initial
initials.
those.
It's all four of our
Yeah,
initials.
yeah, your initial, and then have Priya,
Okay.
and then me and Karen. But you need to sign it, doesn't it have
Yeah.
that? And put your initials that you voted.
Okay, so under the
No, here.
voting block here,
Yeah.
Isn't this one?
that's transfer disapproved.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Or, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
your initial that
And,
box.
I'll put a copy in your box. And, I'll give a copy to the town captain.
You good? Oh, sorry. Okay,
Thank you.
so can we can pick up the conversation that we got, you're gonna
Yeah,
take
I'm
care of
gonna,
that,
I'll take
thank
care
you.
of it and make copies, yeah.
And so now we can go back to budget discussions, since we got you guys here. So I have two questions. One, the stipend for the board. I'll give you a chance to justify that a little bit. I think I know the answer, but I'll let you speak to it.
We're in here doing more work now,
Yeah.
filing more, a lot more paperwork. We're actually going out and assisting now the inspector on rounds, which is, depending on what the situation is, will involve a Board of Health member to help the inspector on her visit, especially if it's a violent
Yeah.
situation, which we've had a number of already, and we've had one that's basically is going on into its second year. We just finished one that was, actually, it's not finished yet, it finally went to court. The court ruled in our favor. So they're, right now, the landlord and the tenant are fighting a battle of, between those two. And we step in again after this because the landlord is not allowed to do any fixes to the property unless it's approved by the entire town, with the Board of Health sign off at the end. So that includes the fire department, the plumbing inspector, the electrical inspector, everybody else. Then the other one was another 2-year project. We're across the street from that, we ended up winning that one also.
Okay.
And a lot of that eats up a lot of personal time, so that's where that's coming in.
Okay. And so so we talked about the health agent increase, requested 20,000. Do you know how many, do you know, so two for the food inspections, 2 a year, and how many sites do you know that? How many sites are being inspected?
The schools being inspected twice a year. The food facilities, the mini marts, or the.
I think we have about 20.
Yeah.
There's 20 throughout town?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so just as round numbers, 40 inspections a year is what's on
Pretty much, yeah.
the docket.
That's just for food, though.
That's just food.
And that's not stating, say they find violation, you have to go back or
Right.
whatever, so that might lead to 3-4 inspections, just say.
It all depends, but it's not, you can't attach a hard number to it,
Right,
because it
yeah,
fluctuates too much.
sure. And do you know how many, last year, do you know how many home inspections you needed to, or house inspections, I should say? Estimate? I won't hold you to it.
I'm gonna tell you about 12,
So about one a month.
right, but there were a couple that were extended, like it says, 27 North Street we're in the second year now. 24 North Street was a year and a half, 2 years also. And we're still dealing with another one currently, over at the Eagles Club, above the Eagles Club.
You only have to do them
But-
once a year, the home inspections, correct?
Home inspections are when they call,
When they're
we
called
have to
in.
Yeah.
respond.
Right,
But,
but it's only one
But
unless
it's
there's an
not,
issue.
no, it's not an inspection as you're thinking, there's an issue,
It's a
there's a
complaint.
problem.
Oh, got it, okay,
There's a help.
And we're also dealing with another one over at 26 Old West Warrenbrook Road, West Brookfield. I'm still learning the streets.
and so, the current health agent, expense, how's that, is it per inspection, is it per hour, how is she
It's
reimbursed?
per hour from portal to portal,
I'm sorry,
per hour from portal to portal.
so what's the prevailing rate there for her, roughly?
It's 40, yeah,
40 an hour.
Okay,
and then there's also, with the housing inspections, there's the potential for court. We have to show up for that.
so, if there were 150 inspections at, just say, 2 hours apiece, that'd be 300 hours of work. At $40 an hour, that's $12,000. you see my point. How are you coming up with $20,000 to cover her wages?
We're looking at the offset from the grant.
I know, but if
Potentially getting
if,
somebody to come in, it's not gonna cost us, the money is gonna be paid by the grant.
no, you're asking for $20,000 to cover
Her
her inspection
her
services.
inspections, right.
But,
But we're looking to offset that with the cost, with the potential of having the other person come in and take half the workload on the grant side. So we're not paying that money out, it's coming from the grant.
What he's saying is that, from what you're saying from the inspections, you can, for the hours and the dollar amounts, he's saying it's only 12,000. Why are you asking for 20? Why not 15? Why are you asking for 20?
Expansion. Just in case
Just
we go, like, let's say our complaints ramp up.
okay,
Okay, let's say we have more, food facilities that pop up in town.
okay. I understand the
That's
request.
500 hours.
And I just wanted to make sure everyone had a chance to understand my perspective, is that,
That's 500 hours at $40.
yeah, I can't see the need for 500 hours worth of inspection services for this town. That's just my opinion. I understand your perspective, and I understand, God bless you for, you're trying to do your due diligence, and I appreciate that. But I just see that as an outrageously high number of hours that I just can't support that, that's all I'm saying.
Which,
Um,
what would you go down to?
Well, you gotta look at also, not every, inspection is gonna be 2 hours.
I understand. There's also gonna be, yeah, that's why I was trying to be generous with the numbers of inspections and the hours involved. I'm going to presume if you're doing 2 inspections a year, I know what's happened historically in the recent year or two, and I know there were some real fiascos that you guys have had to deal with. But if you get all the food facilities in town on a 2-year inspection routine, which I know they haven't been, but once you get there, inspections.
Once we get there, then we could probably pull the budget down.
You're damn right, you don't pull that budget down, because
But, you know,
there's just no way you can justify all those hours for inspection, in my opinion. So,
He can always cut it back and then watch his budget, and come the November special, July, August, September will be done.
and you'll have a run rate at that point that, which should give you some ability to project forward a little bit
And
more.
even October, you'd have a good idea before
Yeah.
articles are due for the fall special.
And again, Deanne,
I'm gonna be honest with you, one of the reasons why I went for 20,000
yeah,
is because I didn't wanna come back here again.
Back here,
fair
you have
enough,
to go
that's a
to
fair
town
point,
meeting.
it's no fun.
I have
But
to
even,
do-
even at 15, all right, so 500 is at 20,000. So if, say, we gave you 15,000, divided to 40, that's still 375 hours. And he's saying total hours approximately was how much, 140 for the food inspections? We
Well,
said 2 a year, what was your
And
calculation?
that'd be 80 inspections,
Right,
and I threw 20 on top of that for houses.
so what was the total that you
would-
had?
Well, that'd be 100 inspections at 4 hours each.
That's 400.
That'd be 400 hours, times 40 would be 16,000.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, this
Right.
number of 20,000.
Yeah.
well,
So that's
I'll be
400
getting my
hours.
house inspected for free, I guess, because it's like, there's no way she can do that many inspections. There's just not the need for it. Now, unless you want to just start inspecting every single little thing that comes across your path, but you've got discretion over that. You don't have to, not every single thing needs to be inspected. If there's a housing complaint,
We have
Let
to
the
address
building-
that. We have to address that.
it
If all comes
depends on
into
the
us-
nature of it depends on the nature of the complaint.
Right.
A lot of these things aren't Board of Health. They're electrical, they're building, they're, that kind of
They
thing.
call us and then we make the referral to
Right.
whichever department is
Right.
responsible for that
Sure.
situation.
And so, right, and so if there's bodies floating in the pools, maybe you guys need to be called in, but if it's simply,
Bodies floating,
If
well,
it-
police
if it-
better be there.
if it's, you know, anyway, all I'm saying, Dan, is that, again, I appreciate you guys trying to get on top of this and do what you're, you know, basically you're hired to do, not hired, but, you know, called to do. But I just, the number of hours that $20,000 worth of inspections would provide for, even being very generous, is way overstated, that's all I'm saying. So I just personally can't support a $20,000 health agent budget. And especially, you know, there shouldn't be any expenses, educational expenses being thrown in there too, which I know historically
It's about 1,000,
was a little bit of an issue.
1,000, yeah. It's about
Other than that,
I had a couple.
I'll open the floor up for other questions and comments.
Did you get a new contract for the monitoring the wells?
No, not yet.
Well, you increased it to
The well-
75,000,
wait a minute,
150.
the wells?
Landfill
The
monitoring.
landfill wells, yes, that's gonna go on a budget,
Yeah.
on the article.
No, this is, we're doing the budget. Articles don't have anything to do with your budget. The
This-
budget last year
this
for,
line item here.
was
Landfill
56,000.
monitor wells,
Yeah, it
the
went up.
contract sent, and it came in, and at the fiscal year 26 proposed budget was 75,150.
Right, so the
Okay.
contract went
So
up.
that-
Yes,
That's
the
what I
contract
asked you.
went up.
Yes.
A lot, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the only other thing that had an increase, I see was rabies control, you increased it by 300.
Right, because we had two this year and the rates went up.
So what is that? I don't know what
I
it does.
don't know off the top of my head what that rate is.
But what do you do with it for the money? That's what I'm asking, how's
Well,
that spent?
There's shots involved, a series of shots involved for the person who got bit,
Okay,
and then there's the quarantine of the animal.
okay. I just wanted to make sure, I didn't really
Okay.
know. And the only other thing I got to say is I think it equals like a 66% increase in the salaries. I understand that work is increased, but I just don't see a 66% increase.
From the 54 to the 9,000?
It's $2,600.
How many board
Yeah,
members?
this is a hugely subjective thing,
There
and,
were three, currently there's two, because we're waiting to fill Don's position.
Okay.
yeah, again, there's great subjectivity here, and I know the dollar amounts don't really amount to too much, but just going from 1,800 up to 3,000 per,
Yeah.
you know, even 18 to 25 is just gonna have a better look, for sure. I mean, it's, again, you're only talking about a $1,500 difference there, but, and again, I don't say it for any kind of, again, it's hard to say these things because someone could take it like there's a lack of appreciation for your guys' role, and it's
No.
not that at all. So again, none of this is personal, it's just the look to go up 66% instead of going up, say, 40% is, you know,
Especially with the type of year it's gonna be.
yeah, so, you know. You know, going. Yeah. Any other comments or
So we
questions?
change that, drop that 9 down.
What do you want to drop
To-
it to?
So, again,
I'll go with your recommendation.
7,500,
Yeah.
go to 2,500 instead.
Yeah.
That would, that's more of a, just a serving suggestion for the look, because you know it's gonna get pilloried on town floor.
So we'll drop it to 70.
Every dollar is gonna help. And again, what did you come up with, did we come up with, well, even 400 hours of inspections at $40 an hour would be 16,000.
Right.
I was gonna say, you know, if that number went up to 15,000, that'd be my recommendation. And again, we don't set your guys' budget, you can request whatever you want.
No,
We just-
no, we're gonna, this is what we vote on,
Okay,
this is what's going in the book.
okay.
We
So-
just need to talk with them
So,
and give them the courtesy of saying this is.
Can we come to a consensus about it,
Correct.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not here to break the bank.
No, I know,
So
and
that's
again, we
300
appreciate,
That's 375 hours at 15,000.
yeah. So I'd make a recommendation that 20,000 be knocked down to 15,000.
I'll go with that.
And I think you're gonna find that's more than enough, and if not, we'll address it next fall.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
because then he'll have July,
I really
August,
think-
September.
And that's fine, because we haven't had her for a full
Right.
year yet.
But we're not sure it's gonna be her, because it's gonna go out to bid.
It'll have to go out, that,
We-
what's the
Who knows,
regulation?
we might not get any.
We
Yeah.
have to get some quotes.
We
Yeah,
might not,
get, go down
Three
like a
written
procurement
quotes,
type
yeah,
of a
yeah,
process,
yeah,
yeah.
and if you don't have bodies out there to get quotes from.
Yeah, that's,
No,
Yeah, she may be the
but
only
you have
bidder.
to do your due
She-
diligence, that's,
Right.
that's it. So,
So we'll put that to 15.
Yeah.
Any other comments or
no, I'm,
nope.
questions?
No.
You good for you?
Yep.
For those? Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I will say that, you know, in the past, I have spoken to Barton and LaJudas, who I believe does the monitoring land.
They do the monitoring, the
Wells,
engineering.
yeah.
and-
So, you know, one of their recommendations, and I believe I said this last year at the budget, is if the town was able, there's two households that are located, I believe, on South Street,
Yes.
that if the town was able to get them on town
Town
water,
water, yep.
West Warren Water, they would not have to pay, the
That
monitoring,
would save us a
the
ton
well,
of money.
the wells. That has the potential of saving the town approximately $30,000 a year. And that was last year's number. This year's number has increased over last year.
Yeah.
So this, by having this discussion, and if the Board of Health or in the Health Department can, entertain, this type of negotiation or outreach to those homeowners, this has a significant impact on, future budgets for this department. And we would be potentially saving quite a bit of money throughout the year. So if the Board of Health could, work on that initiative, for fiscal year '26, that would be a huge help.
And we've been in conversations with the DEP on that, and that also came up as, on the conditions for the permit for the.
Transfer station?
Transfer
Landfill, yeah.
station.
Yeah.
But the conditions are, we have to do all of the wells that they identified, and the other part of it is the solar field on top has to be repaired. And trying to get them to repair that, they haven't been responsive.
Okay.
So, all of this is contingent upon that permit staying in place.
Okay, so, well, this committee's certainly gonna appreciate and endorse that. I mean, what would be, yeah, it's really beyond our scope right here, but certainly, I'll be happy to talk to you more about what the next steps would be about trying to get
well,
that
that
to
would
happen.
be, they really need to talk, get everything together and talk with the selectmen and say, listen, this is what we need to do,
Yeah, then approach
Whether
the residents.
you send a joint letter with the Board of Selectmen and you, or the engineer send it, and, then.
I mean, if you could have a, I'm sure the houses have been identified, if there could be some outreach to those residents, to
Yeah.
start a dialogue, I think that would be
They would,
huge.
they would love it.
Oh, there's one that's fighting it,
Oh, really?
yes.
Oh,
And particularly when the well inspector goes over there, and I pulled the regulations on it a couple of days ago, if they go in and they get refused, then he has to, the person who's doing the testing has to get a refusal from them, and then that goes on the DEP file, and that drops that off of our radar.
oh, okay.
So that is another way to get that
Mm-hmm. That's on
property
them.
taken away.
Mhm.
It's on them.
Interesting.
So that will leave us with one. There were three, one of them signed on, joined onto the line, and that's gone away.
Okay,
So now there's these two remaining ones.
Also, on the Board of Health Administrator line, you got 28,60308. Want to make it 28,604, we don't like cents.
Yeah, that's good.
always round up,
Always round.
yeah. Always round up. So it covers it.
Yeah.
So did you note those recommendations we had?
Yep.
You got them? So if you wanna resubmit, that'd be excellent.
We can,
You're good? We don't need a,
I don't think we need it, because this is what I'll put into the book, and, I mean, if you wanna resubmit, that's fine, it'll look a lot
Well-
nicer.
it's just nice to have that clean copy.
Right.
That's- Yeah. So I have to parse through this.
Yeah, and make hers 604.
Any other comments, questions, concerns
he's,
regarding Board of Health?
He's just updating his,
Okay. Thank you, guys. I know it's not fun coming here, but
That goes down to
we
15.
appreciate it, and
15.
again, appreciate.
More comfortable chairs.
Oh, did you hear last week's? I spoke to it. Anyway,
Okay, so,
Thank-
and I'll give you a copy in your box on this, so.
Okay.
You'll be all set, to pay any bills? Since we voted on it, you're all set.
anything else?
Nope, that's it.
that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, the only thing that, what else I see is, the, West Warren Library gave us a
Update? Yep.
update, they lowered
You
their,
got that, right?
they lowered their,
No, I had that on the fire chief listed here this week.
we didn't ask them this week, because I knew we were gonna be busy with
Oh,
that
okay,
three.
okay.
And next week will be
I-
the library, you
I
said.
saw that in your minutes and I thought.
I thought that's fine.
Yeah, I thought it was ambiguous, I think, and so I didn't bother to.
Absolutely, yeah.
So next week it's
It's
gonna be
okay.
the library, you said you were gonna tell
Mhm.
them, and then I'll contact Adam or Ray, you wanna tell them?
What's
Do you
that?
want me to contact Adam, you wanna stop and tell Adam?
You know, what, let me do it because I wanna talk to him about some things anyways, so
We would like them next week.
make myself a little to do.
Can we do 3 o'clock though next week?
Yes, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, we
Yeah.
just did this for Sue.
No, I know you did, I know, but
Yes.
I have to be somewhere at 5:30 today, so it's a little,
Yeah, don't worry about it. That's what I said, we just did it for her
No, I knew
convenience.
that.
If
I knew
she
that.
had texted or let
Yeah.
me know and she could,
hindsight is perfect, all right.
you know, but you still need a 2-day notice to
Yeah.
change
Oh,
the,
that's true, that's true.
to change the time, so.
Oh. We're gonna have them come in next week, and so we'll be able to ask them questions.
Who's that you have
Yep.
coming in?
Library.
Library.
Oh, okay.
Library coming in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, until they're there to, where we can ask them the questions about how much they need that, then I just don't know, I don't know what to say about it, but yeah, no, that's why we do this, is so we can ask them
Yeah.
why they're asking for what they're asking for.
I
Yep.
had some like ideas for business programs that we could introduce to bring in more money to this town.
Okay, hold that thought, and we can get to it in just a second, I think. Where's my libraries? Okay. Where's our agenda?
I stole it from you.
Oh, I told you I didn't need it, but I do. My apologies.
No, you stole it.
Okay. What were we, the town meeting articles above and beyond?
We
What-
haven't really got any yet, other than what Sue was talking about.
They're slowly trickling in. I've sent out another email to all departments, and they should have them to me by no later than this Thursday.
Okay.
So I'll start working on them once I get them all compiled, and then we can go through them.
I'll leave it on the agenda, just in case.
Yeah, leave it for next week.
Yep.
We already know about the one for Dan's Board of Health's request for the DEP requirement. That's 30,000, I mean, it is what it is, there's not much to say about it, really. But we'll wait,
Right,
we'll
'cause we
wait
have to
for,
vote on it
we'll
anyways.
wait for Jim to compile those
Yeah,
more.
'cause we gotta vote.
So leave it on the agenda for next week.
Mhm.
Was there anything, just doubling back real quick, anything more on the budgets? I don't think there's anything there. The town meeting articles for next week, and so, new business. And I think I just heard Priya had something she wanted to bring up.
And Sherry, it's mostly regarding the library and education, since that's my realm of things. So I was discussing with Madeline earlier about,
And Karen,
you know.
And Karen.
And Karen, yes. Sorry, I
No,
thought you
don't be
said
silly,
Karen,
you're
and I'm
fine,
like-
you're fine.
They get taken used to, you know. I wanted to start this program at the library, this business mentoring program that could potentially help people in this town. And I don't think it requires extra funding. I can actually do it myself, seeing that I've had something that's already successful. And I think that it could benefit the people here and bring in more money, so that we don't have to crunch numbers as rigidly as we do.
I think that's a fantastic
I mean,
idea.
too, I was like, we'll take you. Absolutely, I think it's fabulous.
I do have one thing, okay? I got this, and not that we need to vote on it, but it came in from Dawn. Articles for the annual town meeting is to accept the money for the trust for Pine Grove Cemetery that we don't
Those will all
have
be
to.
listed in the
Yeah.
articles that I
And
submit.
then the other is for the compensating balance agreement, so there's no vote for us needed, so.
Okay. So that's a really nice idea. Where, would she take that to the selectmen as a proposal? Would she?
The
should she-
library?
The library.
Sorry,
Library,
through-
not
Go
the
through the
library.
libraries?
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you could write something up
Yeah.
and email it to me,
For sure.
I'll get it to the board.
Okay, sounds good.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
I'll have it to you by the end of the week.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds great.
all right. Any other new business?
I will say that if by any chance, next week, I'm gonna be, between now and my goal of next week is to work on looking at our revenue projections as part of our budget calendar. You know, I think it's gonna be, as I've stated, as Madeline has stated, very tight a budget year. So I think looking at our revenues, taking a keen look at them in anticipation of this year's budget, I think we need to really look at those as well, coincide with the departmental requests to make sure that we, you know, have enough money to cover all of these expenses.
Okay.
So next week, I hope to put together some revenue numbers, you know, estimated for the board to look at.
That'd be excellent.
If you could put that on the agenda, that'd be great.
Okay. And I just, Jim, if you could update us, what departments have not submitted a budget yet?
So the animal control officer have not received the actual budget, although I have been in communication with her. She has indicated that the budget is not gonna be is not gonna change. There's gonna be no changes to it. I did communicate back to her and say, you still have to submit one.
Yep.
So, I'm still waiting on that.
Oh, that's the only one that's missing?
No, police and.
Police.
Oh, police and,
Police and selectmen.
Selectmen might be voting this week on theirs.
Yeah.
I saw on the agenda.
As a conditional
okay,
approval pending on, we're still waiting on some health insurance numbers
okay.
for liability and workers' comp.
Anything from sewer?
Sewer, yep, they're finalizing their budget as we speak. Ralph had just submitted an updated budget. I think he's gonna be taking it to the sewer commissioners next week for their review and, you know,
Okay.
approval, and then hopefully he gets it to the FinCom, you know, shortly thereafter.
Because theirs basically is an article, doesn't go into the FinCom vote.
All right.
In police, we have police negotiations scheduled for this Friday at 1. I do have an executive session planned with the selectmen on Thursday at 4:30, in anticipation for the executive session in anticipation with the negotiations with the patrolmen's union on Friday.
Okay, very good.
So that, and then we've got tomorrow night, the school department is meeting again for their teacher contract negotiations, so.
And who are we having next week? Is it Warren Library and West Warren?
No.
Warren
West-
Library?
Yeah,
And the fire?
West Warren Library came at
Okay.
3% or whatever.
Okay.
But
So
West,
just-
you said Warren wanted to come in and talk to us.
Yes, yeah,
And then he's gonna ask
And fire.
Adam.
okay.
So
Okay.
Fire and Warren Library.
Okey-dokey.
Anything else? All right.
Meeting adjourned?
No,
No, I know.
the next meeting
Yeah,
is
next meeting,
March 11th.
next
3 o'clock.
Tuesday at 3?
Sounds good.
Mhm.
Work for everyone?
Yep.
Okay. 3 o'clock, March 11th?
Yep.
Here in the finance room?
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Now I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okey-dokey.
Priya, you want to say?
Need a second?
5:01.
Say I second that. There you
All in
go.
favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
We are adjourned.
All right, I'm sorry to
Perfect.
run. I have to be
That's all right.
somewhere at 5:30.
What, call it 5:30?
Mhm.